Welcome to Voyage Daily Tech, the most important news personalized for you every day, supported by Voyage.com.
After listening to today's news, you'll know, first, Nvidia's potential $30 billion investment in OpenAI triggers US antitrust concerns over its vertical AI lock-in strategy. We'll analyse why this supplier-investor deal is a turning point and how it could affect competitive dynamics in the AI ecosystem. Second, Amazon surpasses Walmart in annual revenue, igniting a high-stakes AI war with clashing walled garden versus partnership strategies. We'll explore how these divergent retail AI strategies could transform the industry and define the future of online shopping. Third, former Google engineers allegedly stole Snapdragon chip secrets for Iran, exposing a critical national security risk from insider threats. We'll examine how this analog breach of a digital fortress impacts corporate security and intellectual property protection. Fourth, after $83 billion in losses, Meta pivots its Horizon Worlds metaverse from VR to mobile, challenging user-generated content giants. So we'll discuss why this strategic retreat matters for the future of VR hardware and the broader creator economy. Fifth, Accenture mandates AI tool adoption for senior promotions, revealing a clash between corporate policy and European privacy regulations. In this episode, we'll break down this high-stakes workforce transformation and what it signals for corporate AI adoption globally. Let's start with a number that's shaking up the AI world. $30 billion, that's how much Nvidia is reportedly in talks to drop into OpenAI, a deal that could value the startup at a staggering $730 billion. Now, that valuation might sound astronomical, but investors are looking at the trajectory. OpenAI's annual recurring revenue has exploded from $6 billion to $20 billion in just 1 year, thanks to ChatGPT's incredible growth. The catch, of course, is the burn rate. The company spent over $6 billion on R&D in just the first half of 2025. So investors are clearly betting on future dominance, not current profit. We've seen how brutally expensive the AI hardware race is. Chip challengers need billion-dollar lifelines just to compete. So it makes sense that the market is concentrating its bets on platforms that can actually drive product demand. But that's not the whole picture. The real turning point is that this massive new investment is completely separate from a previously announced $100 billion infrastructure agreement between them. And that original deal has been facing serious questions. A while back, we talked about xAI tightening a vendor investor loop with Nvidia and Cisco. At the time, OpenAI was diversifying its silicon suppliers to avoid getting locked in. This latest development flips that dynamic entirely. It's no longer just a supplier pact. Nvidia is pushing to become an owner. What's easy to miss is the crucial difference between these two deals. The original $100 billion agreement was milestone-based, meaning the money was tied to OpenAI actually building out data centers. This new $30 billion, it's reportedly unconditional. This signals a huge shift in strategy. Nvidia is no longer just a supplier. It's acting like a strategic owner with a real stake in OpenAI's future. As we've discussed, equity thins the distance between vendor and customer in a way a simple procurement contract never could. Interestingly enough, just a few months ago, reports were swirling that the $100 billion pact was on ice. Nvidia itself even stated in a financial report there was no assurance a definitive agreement would be reached. The situation got so tense that OpenAI CEO Sam Altman took to social media saying he didn't get where all this insanity is coming from. And yet, despite all the public doubt, Nvidia's CEO Jensen Huang just went on the record stating there was no question his company would invest in OpenAI's next funding round. We've seen this play before. When alliances and rivalries blur, money finds a way. Remember when Intel's talks to buy Samba stalled and they just funded the rival instead? That was a frenemy hedge. The same logic is surfacing here, just at a much higher strategic level. This all creates a massive conflict of interest. When a primary hardware supplier like Nvidia also becomes a major investor, it could lead to preferential treatment for OpenAI. They could get first dibs on the best new GPUs, leaving competitors like Anthropic or xAI waiting. Naturally, this has US antitrust authorities very concerned about fair competition. The vendor-investor loops we noted before had already raised eyebrows. Anchoring that loop to the leading AI application player only intensifies the scrutiny. So what's the real end game? It's likely a vertical lock-in strategy for Nvidia. By investing in the top AI company while also supplying its chips and building its data centers, Nvidia ensures its dominance across the entire AI ecosystem. Even if competitors like AMD or Intel create better chips, Nvidia remains deeply embedded with the most important player. After all, amid the recent frenzy, Cerebra's raised $1 billion and Grok struck a $20 billion licensing deal with Nvidia, yet the center of gravity remained Nvidia's stack. An ownership stake in OpenAI would only tighten that orbit. Believe it or not, the talks have accelerated, and it's not just Nvidia. OpenAI is also talking to giants like Amazon and Microsoft for a total funding round that could hit $100 billion. We've analysed how investors preserve options by financing both partners and rivals. Well, that strategy is now moving right up to the application apex with OpenAI. This would mean direct competitors Amazon, Microsoft, and Nvidia all becoming major strategic investors in the same startup. It's almost unheard of in tech history and raises serious questions about OpenAI's independence. The friend-foe lines we flagged a while back aren't just blurring, they're stacking right on top of each other. This isn't just a partnership, it's the new reality of the AI arms race, setting the stage for a valuation that would make OpenAI one of the most valuable tech companies on the planet. We were just talking about the high-stakes investment game at the top of the AI pyramid. Now let's see how that arms race is playing out on the ground floor of the global economy, retail. In a historic shift, the undisputed king has been dethroned. For the first time ever, Amazon has officially surpassed Walmart in annual revenue. Amazon clocked in at $716.9 billion for the year, just squeaking by Walmart's $713.2 billion. But this isn't just a symbolic shuffle. It marks the start of a new high-stakes war fought on a completely different battlefield. Artificial intelligence. A while back, we walked through how the AI arms race was spilling beyond big tech today. It's landed squarely in retail. The situation presents a fascinating duality. On one side, you have Walmart leaning on partnerships, striking deals with tech giants like OpenAI and Google to power its shopping tools. Essentially, Walmart is letting customers shop directly through chatbots like ChatGPT and Gemini. This allows them to leverage cutting-edge tech without the massive cost of building it all from scratch, a strategy that has already helped boost their global e-commerce sales by 22%. Their own AI assistant, Sparky, is already showing results, reportedly boosting the average customer's spending by a massive 35%. Now, a key question here is about selection bias. Are these AI tools actually causing people to spend more? Or are the big spenders, the power users, simply the first ones to adopt the new tech? It's a critical distinction when we're talking about billions of dollars. And remember, as we flagged before, most organizations still haven't reported measurable returns from their AI rollouts. So results like these need careful auditing over time. The company is even trying to rebrand as a tech player by moving its stock to the tech-heavy NASDAQ. This is a deliberate signal to investors that Walmart sees its future in technology, not just big box stores. But when we place this move alongside PepsiCo's similar shift to the NASDAQ in 2017, the potential pitfalls become clear. Pepsi's stock actually underperformed the market over the next year, proving that a new stock ticker doesn't automatically change a company's fundamental value. On the other side of this duality is Amazon, which is building a fortress. It's blocking outside AI shopping agents from its site and going all in on its own chatbot, Rufus, which already drove nearly $12 billion in extra sales last year. As we've analysed before, in AI, control of distribution and data is leverage, and Amazon is executing that playbook perfectly. They are creating what's known as a walled garden by actively preventing other AI assistants from accessing their platform. They even sent a cease and desist letter to a company called Perplexity AI, demanding its shopping tool stop making purchases on Amazon. The goal is to control the entire AI shopping experience, ensuring security and, more importantly, keeping all that valuable user data and advertising revenue for itself. We've seen media giants tighten licenses on their IP. This is the retail version of that same moat building strategy. To fuel this, Amazon is preparing to spend up to $200 billion on AI initiatives this year alone. That single year investment is more than the planned AI spending of Google, Microsoft, and Meta combined. The total AI spending from these four giants is now projected to hit an astronomical $700 billion. We previously noted that industry-wide AI capex was racing past the peak of the Apollo program. Today's projection just shows that curve steepening. And with GPUs aging out in 1 to 3 years, the payback window is brutally short. That's why Amazon's announcement was such a huge gamble that it initially spooked Wall Street, shaving over $450 billion off its market value. So you have two clashing philosophies. Walmart's CFO says they will let tech companies do what they do best and partner the agile, lower risk approach. Amazon's response is to spend more on AI than almost anyone on the planet and invest billions in firms like Anthropic, the high risk, high reward bet on total control. The real test is whether either model can outrun that short depreciation clock and convert all that spending into durable returns. Speaking of high stakes competition, our next story shifts from the corporate battlefield to the shadowy world of international espionage. Two former Google engineers are at the center of a federal indictment accused of stealing a treasure trove of tech secrets and funneling them directly to Iran. Prosecutors allege the engineers, along with a third individual, exploited their positions at top Silicon Valley firms to obtain hundreds of confidential files. We're talking about the crown jewels of mobile computing, secrets related to processor security, cryptography, and the powerful Snapdragon chips that run most high-end Android phones. This isn't just about blueprints for faster phones, it's a matter of national security. The designs for these advanced chips, known as a system on chip or SoC, are strategically valuable assets. The same technology that powers your smartphone can be adapted for military use in things like advanced drones, missile guidance, and secure communications. For a nation like Iran, which is under heavy international sanctions, getting this kind of IP is a way to leapfrog years of R&D. This is where the situation takes a more complex turn. The method they allegedly used is straight out of a spy movie. After Google's own security systems flagged suspicious activity, the defendants didn't just try to cover their digital tracks. They allegedly resorted to photographing hundreds of computer screens containing confidential information, a brazen attempt to bypass digital monitoring. It's a fascinating detail about corporate security. Big tech companies use sophisticated software called data loss prevention, or DLP, to block unauthorized transfers of digital files. But these systems have a massive blind spot: the physical world. You can't digitally block someone from taking a picture of their screen with a personal phone. It's a classic low-tech solution to a high-tech problem, highlighting the constant arms race between security teams and determined insiders. It's a low loophole in a dictated fortress. The indictment reveals the plot thickens even more. One of the accused is a former member of the Iranian army, and just one night before two of them traveled to Iran, one allegedly took dozens of photos of a work computer screen containing a competitor's trade secrets, while in Iran, a device linked to them allegedly accessed those photographs. This all happened after one of the engineers allegedly signed a false affidavit claiming she had not shared Google's confidential information. During that same period, a personal laptop was allegedly used to search for ways to delete communications and research how long mobile carriers even keep message records. This brings up the huge challenge of what the security world calls insider threats. What's really staggering is the timeline. The alleged theft happened over a period of years before the arrests. According to a major 2025 report from the Ponemon Institute, the average time it takes a large company to even detect and contain an insider threat is 81 days. That's already a dangerously long time. The fact that this operation allegedly went on for years shows just how difficult it is to spot a sophisticated patient actor working from the inside, especially one using encrypted channels like Telegram to cover their tracks. The FBI says the defendants took deliberate steps to evade detection. Now, the three face charges, including conspiracy to commit trade, secret theft, and obstruction of justice. If convicted, each defendant faces up to 20 years in prison for the obstruction charge alone, plus up to 10 years and a $250,000 fine for each count of trade secret theft. We've just covered the theft of secrets behind the physical hardware that powers our world. Now, let's pivot to the virtual worlds Meta once hoped to build. In a stunning reversal, Meta's VR metaverse is, well, ditching VR. After pouring billions into a virtual reality future, Meta is announcing a massive strategic retreat, and those billions are almost hard to comprehend. We're talking about operating losses in the Reality Labs division exceeding a staggering $83 billion since 2019. So when we say massive retreat, we mean it. In a bombshell blog post, the company announced it is now explicitly separating its Horizon Worlds metaverse from its Quest VR headsets. The new focus to be almost exclusively mobile. This isn't just a pivot, it's a declaration of war on a new front. The move sets Meta up to compete directly with user-generated content giants like Roblox and Fortnite, fighting for attention on your phone, not in a headset. And this is an uphill battle, even for a giant like Meta. While Meta was focused on VR, Roblox and Fortnite quietly conquered this space. Roblox now has over 150 million daily active users, with its creators earning over $740 million last year. For comparison, Meta's Horizon Worlds has struggled to get even 200,000 monthly active users. That's the mountain they have to climb. A top executive was direct, stating that to truly change the game and tap into a much larger market, we're going all in on mobile. What really brought this to a head was a single devastating statistic. A stunning 86% of the time people spend in Meta's VR headsets is with third-party apps, not Meta's own creations. Now, Meta might try to spin this as a sign of a healthy ecosystem, but that's a tough sell. Think about your iPhone. Apple's own apps for messaging and payments are dominant. So when 86% of your users are actively avoiding your products on your own hardware, it's less a sign of health and more a five-alarm fire indicating your own content has failed to connect. This pivot comes right after Meta laid off about 10% of its Reality Labs division, closed 3 of its own VR studios, and stopped creating new content for its popular VR fitness app. The company's reallocating those teams to focus on AI wearables, like AI-powered smart glasses, signaling a major move away from being VR-centric. So what happens to the metaverse dream? It's not dead, it's just moving. CEO Mark Zuckerberg now sees AI as the new social media, with Horizon Worlds becoming the immersive 3D version of that vision. The vision they're selling is one where AI tools can create entire 3D games from a simple text prompt, which can then be shared instantly on your social feed. This could completely change the creator economy. Instead of needing indie game developers, AI could generate endless content, lowering the barrier for creation, but also raising huge questions about originality and who gets paid. The new goal is to connect these games with the billions of people on its social networks. Meta isn't giving up on making VR hardware, but this creates a huge paradox. Can you successfully sell hardware when you've stopped making the compelling first-party software that makes people want to buy it in the first place? It's a massive gamble. The strategy is now crystal clear. The battle for the next version of the internet will not be one with expensive headsets. It will be fought on the world's biggest social networks, on the device already in your pocket. Meta's pivot shows how AI is reshaping corporate strategy from the top down. Our final story today looks at how it's transforming companies from the inside out. A global consulting giant just drew a line in the sand for its senior staff. Use our AI or forget about getting promoted. A while back, we said the question isn't whether AI will cannibalize ours, it's who chooses to cannibalize them first. Accenture just made its choice. Accenture has informed its associate directors and senior managers that regular adoption of the company's artificial intelligence tools is now a requirement to advance into leadership positions. This isn't a suggestion, it's a mandate. An internal email put it bluntly, stating that the use of our key tools will be a visible input to talent discussions. Behind the scenes, this top-down approach has sparked some serious internal resistance. Some employees are reportedly calling the company's custom AI tools broken slop generators, and they're questioning whether this policy creates real skill or just performative compliance. People simply logging in to check a box. The credibility of the company's AI transformation services is at stake. If its own workforce isn't genuinely bought in, it could undermine their sales pitch to clients. We previously analysed how AI agents can cut peri-task costs by 95%, but if the in-house tools feel like slop, that efficiency story collapses. However, if you zoom out, you'll see a crucial detail in this policy. It doesn't apply to everyone. Employees in 12 European countries and staff working on US government contracts are actually exempt. This points to the massive influence of regulations like the EU's AI Act and GDPR, which place strict limits on how companies can use AI for employee monitoring and evaluation. It creates a global asymmetry where some employees are pushed to use AI while others are shielded by regulation. Continuing our last discussion on regulated industries, the carve-outs show how compliance constraints don't just shape client deployments, they shape internal employee policies too. The stakes here are higher than just a promotion. This is about corporate survival. CEO Julie Sweet went on the record revealing the true gravity of this shift. She said Accenture is on a very compressed timeline, and where there isn't a viable path for skilling, the plan is to begin exiting people so we can get more of the skills in we need. That's exactly the self-cannibalization play we've talked about. Move fast to replace hours with automation before a rival does. And exiting people isn't just a turn of phrase. The company has already set aside a staggering $865 million for severance and restructuring costs to make this happen. This isn't a gentle nudge. It's a high-stakes, high-cost corporate overhaul. This isn't a small-scale test either. Accenture has 780,000 employees worldwide and has already reskilled a staggering 550,000 workers on the fundamentals of generative AI. And as we noted a while back, if an AI agent costs around 8 cents per minute while a human costs over $1, that gap forces decisions at this scale. Of course, when a company says it has reskilled over 500,000 people, we have to ask what that really means. Is it a one-day webinar or deep, meaningful training? To back this up, Accenture has nearly doubled its number of dedicated data and AI professionals to 77,000 in just the last year, suggesting they are hiring for deep expertise, not just broad training. To fuel this transformation, the company is building a massive AI ecosystem, partnering with OpenAI, Anthropic, and Palantir to train tens of thousands of employees on their respective platforms. We previously broke down why some firms bet on Anthropic's Claude for its ability to handle complex, regulated workflows. Accenture training 30,000 on Claude fits that same agents as platform architecture and puts them in that race. This decision brings both the benefit of rapid transformation and comes with the inherent risk of what experts call AI lock-in. As the workforce becomes reliant on these specific AI systems, their own underlying skills can start to erode. If one of these systems fails or a partnership ends, the company could be left incredibly vulnerable. As we've discussed, when agents become the platform, switching costs and the lock-in risk can climb fast. It's a high-wire act of balancing technological advantage with workforce resilience.
That's it for today on Voyage Daily Tech. Follow, share, and stay tuned for daily updates coming your way tomorrow.